Right, it's Thursday, August 22nd. This is an end of the day recap. I shot videos earlier how I bought puts here on the QQQs up at this upper blue line, expecting it to roll over and test the lows of the day, which it did. I shot a video how I scaled out, set up an overage trade, and now we close near the lows of the day. So those options, the initial ones I bought, the 487 puts, 707. I scaled out some in the 8s along the way down, and then I sold near the end of the day at 1275. So it was over 5 points of gain to the downside, and that's on the secondary trade. There was also, a very aggressive opening trade to the downside if you wanted to play it. And the reason to consider that was that on the weekly chart, as I described on previous videos, we've come up for 3 weeks now and taken out 1-2 targets. So this is an area to pause at a minimum, maybe reverse. If we end up holding this shooter bar into next week, we expect to test a little lower into this gap. We'll get into that, a little later. And this 3 bar here, big red bar to the downside, once we kind of came through the midpoint of these 2 bars, we expected the low to be tested, and then I wanted to see how it closed. We closed big red, so I'm kind of expecting testing lower tomorrow, which would then, if it holds, kind of confirm the shooter bar, which can then lead into lower next week. So a lot of things are happening here, on a kind of an if this happens and then that happens type of thing. But with this big red bar, I've seen 3 bars that don't necessarily follow through immediately, but you still kind of expect it to at least test that low and then see if we get kind of a 3-2 down, maybe a 2 up reversal to keep that uptrend going. But if not, then we're going to close with a weekly. If we don't see that kind of reversal happening down near those lows tomorrow, or an inside bar or something like that, then you're kind of anticipating this weekly chart closing with a shooter bar that should follow through lower into next week. So I'm, still anticipating lower after this reversal, but I just wanted to show you it's a very good secondary trade here to buy puts at this blue line, and ended up with nice gains, and it did end up closing near the lows of the day, which I was kind of, wanted to see what would happen once it took out the lows of the day. So just thought I'd follow up, and that's kind of the outlook going forward, and we'll see what tomorrow and next week brings.